Have you ever told yourself that you don't have that killer instinct or that mental toughness to really deal with pressure? Well, I can tell you that you don't have to be born mentally tough to perform under pressure. It's something you can absolutely learn, just like I did. Because I used to really struggle with the pressure of competing on the Freeride World Tour. There's this one event I remember in particular. It was the Freeride World Tour Fieberbrunn in 2016. I was off to a really tricky start of the season that year because I'd injured myself early and skipped the first two events. So here I was at inspection, and I remember thinking, well, I really have to ski the winning line here because I need to make enough points to qualify for the next stop and the next season. So there was a lot at stake. And I decided that, this is about skiing the winning line. Nothing really matters beyond that because otherwise I can't advance. I remember being very stressed out at this event, very nervous. I was worrying a lot about what would happen if I couldn't win, what my competitors would be doing. I remember having a lot of trouble sleeping and having a really nervous feeling in my tummy, and almost wishing that the whole event were already over. I was not enjoying myself. And then hiked up to the start, super stressed. It was finally my turn to drop in, and I actually managed to ski the top part of my line fairly well.
He's currently ranked 13th. That was a great air.
Yes, it was.
Everything stomped and fluid, strong riding as usual.
She's going to have to find something big down the bottom, though.
And then I remember approaching the bottom half, and the snow suddenly changed. It became crusty. And because I was so scared of making a mistake, a thought shot through my head, don't crash now, you can't crash. And so I ended up just skiing straight into the finish line. I didn't jump my last two cliffs. I completely threw my plan overboard. And of course that wasn't enough to podium even, and I came fourth, and my competition season was over, and I'd really let myself down.
She would have had to do another drop like Ariana did in the steep part.
So now, fast forward to the same event in Fieberbrunn 1 year later.
West.
Great skiing there. No hesitation whatsoever. Shutting down speed with ease. Now getting into even more technical terrain. Very fluid. Show us some air. Great skiing there.
No doubt.
I would say the strongest upper part that we've seen so far.
So she obviously enjoys skiing this mountain. Yeah, Laurie.
Stay on your feet. Great stuff.
For the past 5 years, I'd really focused on winning, on wanting to become world champion. But this season, I had done the inner work, and I completely changed my mindset from focusing on results and points, winning, to focusing on learning, challenging myself, growing, and enjoying the experience. Because what's the point of competing, of putting all that effort in if you can't even enjoy yourself? And so I decided to really prioritize flow in my runs. And now my ultimate goal, my ultimate purpose of being at the competition was to learn and grow, enjoy the experience, and find flow in my runs. So I knew that whatever happened that day, whatever the outcome was, I was going to actually achieve that goal. Essentially, my goal became easier to achieve than to win. And so it took all the pressure off me that I felt that year earlier in 2016. I remember feeling so excited to ski my line. I'd chosen a pretty challenging line with some solid-sized jumps, but I really felt that I had what it takes. I felt like I had the skills, and I was excited to commit to that line. And so at the start, I remember feeling that feeling of excitement in my belly and the gratitude to be there, to be able to challenge myself. And I pushed off from the start, and my line unfolded before me just as I'd visualized it. I had a sense of effortlessness and being able to ski in a really relaxed and confident way. I knew exactly what I needed to do at every point in time. And yeah, I skied my line exactly how I wanted, skied into the finish line, and it's honestly the most amazing feeling for me to be able to ski a line just like you planned. That, that feeling of achievement, it's super fulfilling.
And at the opening ceremony, I asked her, listen, you've got to win, and you could easily challenge for the title with a good result here. Lori Huber,
Congrats.
is the world title one of your goals for the season? She said, no, I just want to have fun. Well, you know what, young lady?
Into your face.
Yeah, I actually did win that day, but what I was most proud of was that I had challenged myself, I applied myself really well, stepped up to the challenge, even under pressure. This actual shift of mindset, I can honestly tell you, is the most important thing that I learned in becoming world champion. This is like the absolute foundational skill of being mentally tough. If this is the one thing you take away from my videos, then it's this. Focus on learning and growing. Forget about winning when you're at the competitions. It is the wrong time to think about winning. And now let me be just really clear, because this is something I debated on for a long time and I wasn't sure what the right approach was. It's totally okay and positive to have these outcome goals, to have the goal of, I want to be world champion, because that also gave me direction and I knew in what direction I was moving towards. So that's a good thing. But come game time, when it's time to compete, you need to forget about winning, because thinking about winning results and points is hugely distracting. And what you need to do to be able to perform at your best when the pressure is on is to focus on the process. And the process are those moment-to-moment actions that you can control, because results and winning is a huge uncontrollable. You cannot control what your competitor's doing or how the judges judge you. What you can control, though, is focusing on yourself and on your skiing and the small steps that you take to building your line and being able to perform on the day. Do that and you're going to be able to perform to your potential. And that is just the most awesome feeling there is.